I do feel like they're being a tiny bit disrespectful to Tony Stark, because this show has just become a meme streak of him dying. They even showed his death as
in
well.
this one.
So also, how many times he died? Hey guys, and welcome back to Fortune Theory for another bonus for this week's What If, episode 6, titled What If Killmonger Rescued Tony Stark. I have nothing to say for this episode. It was not, by the way.
That's it.
Just interrupt you. I've got no. It's not like they were really getting good with like 4 and 5, like really building up like all the multiverse brand, like all the different like branch realities and like in the multiverse, like all the different realities and like what's happening and whatnot. And like one's like zombified and another's like completely destroyed by Doctor Strange. And then you've got some of the pre-established universes with Captain Carter and whatnot. But then they give us this universe and it kind of feels like, what the fuck is the point?
Like, out of the billions of possibilities that you could have, almost basically infinite possibilities of other universes, it's a bit of a random one. Like, it's a bit like, what if the brick to the left of the one that Tony Stark shot at in New York fell instead of the one that made the building collapse? Like,
yeah.
I mean, yes, Killmonger's an important character, but...
that was kind of what happened in this episode, I think. That was kind of like... It felt like they were running out of ideas, and they wanted to do ideas that they thought were interesting, but a vast majority of audiences probably didn't. But at the same time, I looked over it, and I thought, actually, it does kind of make a lot of sense.
I did feel like we were chasing the idea of what he's really fighting for the entire time. Because, like... straight away, it's almost like, okay, so he's not really going to be helping Iron Man, but then, like, at the end, I mean, I guess most audience members will understand that he's, like, trying to do it for his father at the end and slight self.
Well, yeah, there was a lot of, it was a mixture between Iron Man 1 and Black Panther, basically, was the whole point
pretty
of it.
Much, yeah.
And, like, there's a reference to Age of Ultron because of the whole Tony Stark knowing Ucilia's claw connection and the whole him having vibranium. And then he's on the same cruise ship that he was in Age of Ultron. And then, turns out that Killmonger's plan is basically use Tony Stark to get to Ucilia's claw, get the vibranium, make the Stark-made, weapon droid things, attack Wakanda, have them get sent over to Wakanda by America, so he can go there, warn them firsthand, so he can look like he's a worthy king, and help the Wakandans fight the weapons that he's created just to take over his country. It's complicated for the average viewer. Let's put it that way.
Because I felt that
they show more than they explain, which is kind of the problem.
Sit back and relax with the what ifs, because obviously we took there are some shows I sit back and relax and just don't really think about the entire thing, just sort of don't have to think about it much. And there are some shows where I choose to obviously I'm putting more effort into analyzing every scene to figure out the backstory and what's going on. Obviously, What If, luckily, it kind of explains itself because of the whole context of What If is as a series. But I felt like we were going back and forth a bit with discovering the real
I feel like this should have been because the thing is with the episode orders, it doesn't really matter what happens.
No,
because it's not.
Because it's just what if.
It could have happened I think this would have been better as the first episode, perhaps, just to introduce us to the concept of what it's all about, and then do everything else that they've done.
Yeah.
Afterwards, because they'd have been more of fan favorites. I get that you probably chronologically in the timeline, you should have probably done the Captain Carter episode first, which is why they did, and then then maybe done this episode, then the Star-Lord one, then all the other ones, because the problem is now we've had so many great episodes. This one's kind of the runt of the litter.
Yeah,
with them, in my opinion, because it doesn't have anything to show for it at the end.
No, I felt like we didn't get to his true motive quick enough. We didn't finally get to what his true motive was until
I think the motive is the exact same as it was in Black Panther. It's just he had a different plan.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Which I guess most people that are heavy Marvel fans and deep lovers of Marvel, obviously you're following it. Not that I'm not following it, but it's just looser for me. That's gonna be clipped for the trailer. Just
Yeah.
what you said.
Loosely. Yeah, we're working on a
Um,
new trailer, by the way. Just like Pat did the edit for the first one, I'm doing the edit for the second one. So yeah, you're gonna love it, by the way. I'm gonna make sure that all the best bits are in it.
But yeah, I know. This episode was very much just like not a filler, but yeah, it could have been like the first one if it was going to have been the first one to sort of introduce the whole idea and how the structure of what ifs and like where they're gonna go. Because it was very much just the same ball roll. It was at the same ballpark, just like not really going anywhere. At least it felt like that.
Yeah,
to
like
me.
I felt like at the end, because I've noticed that they've been doing these a little bit a lot. I'm not sure how they were going to do it with the last episode either, to be honest. But like, there's something crucial that they're going to have to then deal with in a later episode when they finally bring it all together in like episode 9.
Yeah.
But with this episode, it kind of felt like there wasn't really anything important to do about that, unless I think there was I heard one of the other podcasters reviewing it, discussing that the whole point of Shuri and Pepper Potts' interaction at the end of the episode was that they were going to like, because they're on the case together, so neither of them like or trust Killmonger.
No.
They're going to work on like creating some sort of rescue armor or some sort of armor that they're going to wear. I think actually, though, saying that, I do think Shuri becomes like a new Black Panther in this series, because I think I remember from trailer footage that she's like with the T'Challa Star-Lord and like Gamora Thanos, who I'm assuming is a villain in maybe one of the next episodes when they do her, but I'm guessing she becomes like a hero as well.
Yeah, I think yeah.
I'm not
At
sure.
At least it's where it was kind of headed. Looks that way.
Yeah, I don't really have much to say about
this episode's a bit
specific
sort of
episode
in terms of our review. Because I mean, if you did like it, then lovely. I'm glad we're
Let us
really
know in the
glad you
comments.
like. Yeah, tell us what you think of it. Because it wasn't bad. It just, in my opinion, it felt like it didn't really like move on.
It was like a bit underwhelming because it was just basically 2 films cut together for a short like 20. It was 2 pre-established films that we've already seen, cut together, re-edited, reimagined.
Yeah, to me, it felt just like a lot of. It felt like the structure of an opening of it. It felt like the act 1 of a film over the course of a half an hour period for like you said, the Iron Man and Black Panther.
The shots for it in the trailer when the trailer came out, because the trailer opened with the opening like sequence of this episode just narrowed down. Like it worked, and you'd look forward to the idea of it, but you'd wonder kind of why.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, well, I'm still wondering why now, and I've watched it. Like, because it just doesn't. That's the problem. Like, the whole point is like, yeah, you are meant to wonder why, but you're meant to stop wondering why once you've watched it, because it's meant to kind of explain it to you why it makes sense. Hopefully, maybe in the next 3 episodes, like what they're doing and what they've done with this episode kind of make a bit more sense.
Yeah.
But it's this episode I've got the problem with, because it feels the least relevant to what they're doing.
Yeah, I felt that towards the end.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, how many more have we got?
Another 3 over the next 3 weeks.
There we go.
Yeah, with the third week from now being the finale to not the whole show, because they're doing a season 2, but just season 1 finale anyway. They cut an episode short. There was going to be 10 episodes, but that 10th episode is now week 9s. So I don't know if they've had to change anything or not. But I swear, to be honest, if they did cut an episode, I hope it was worse than this one. And I hope this one is relevant.
Yeah.
Let's just put it that way. Like, they have said about putting it in season 2, but I was like, well, if it works in season 2, then yeah, I suppose, but don't.
I mean, they're not exactly. Are they in any sort of order?
They made the episode that they haven't shot, that they haven't included, but I'm guessing they're going to have to reimagine what the outcome of that is for season 2.
Yeah.
Say again, sorry.
Because have they made it? Because these aren't necessarily any particular order, are they?
No, that's the thing.
Relevance.
That's why I'm like, this would have been better as like an earlier episode.
Yeah.
Because we're getting to the good stuff now with the last like 2 weeks.
Pretty much. Yeah.
And this week could have just been another great one. But yeah, that would have been a letdown. But
we would have then been
I feel like
excited
you
by the
need
rest of
something
the
to bring
series.
you into it, like it, then have a little bit of a letdown with maybe at week 2 or 3's episode. Then after that, it gets even like come week 4, it starts to really like give you what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Which obviously this week's for. What are you doing?
What am I doing?
It's just so off-putting. I just see you like going like that. It just does not help.
I've crossed my I am like sitting cross-legged on my chair, and I've just my knee twitches. So
What, are you meditating? Oh right.
I just got a knee twitch, so that's why I'm bobbing.
Have you not got pins and needles?
I
It's like that. It's such a compressed space.
It's not too compressed, but yeah. It was one of those ones. Well, we'll see what happens with episode 7. Anyway, so
well, I don't know what episode 7 is. If I had to guess, it's going to be either the party Thor that they've been building up to, or it's going to be the Gamora Thanos episode.
Right.
Because I know it's going to have to be one of those two, because and then episode 8 will be the other one, and then 9 is the finale.
Yeah.
So that's all they've got left to do now is the party Thor. What I mean by that is, well, if you've seen the trailers, it's just basically Thor's like really a lot more like himself in Ragnarok, but even more like not dumb, but like a bit loopy, kind of out there, like, oh yeah, we're sort of thing. Like he's a bit like that, and like he's just in the trailers.
He's not so original Thor. No,
in the trailers, he's just like they make him come across as really relaxed and chilled. He's like, oh yeah, take a chill pill, man, like sort of thing. Like, you know, oh, explain this because some of the people in the room don't understand. Not me. Like I get it. Just really, he's like
almost like Korg.
There's a shot with Korg. Korg's got a pacifier in the new mid-season trailer that they brought out as well, and I thought, what's that in his mouth? I had to rewatch it, and I was like, oh, that was what I thought it was. He's got a pacifier in his mouth. I was like, I'm guessing that'll be in the same episode. I'm assuming so. It's going to have Ragnarok references. I like his outfit though, Pythor, as well. So that'll probably be next week or the week after, and then it'll be Gamora being Thanos even next week or the week after, and then the big finale where Captain Carter, T'Challa, Star-Lord, and all them come together to fight Ultron. I think the trailers are giving that away enough.
That is the connection.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So that's the conclusion from what I know.
Well, there we go.
But yeah,
a bit of a
yeah, it kind of felt like filler. I can say that now.
It kind of felt like
it feels like filler, basically. This one, I wouldn't say it's not recommendable. You probably do need to watch it to understand the other ones, but if you're anything like us, you'll probably understand why we didn't like it so much compared to what they have been doing. Like, I felt like do this episode, then the Doctor Strange and the Zombies one, because then you're happy again. Like, don't give us the guts and glory, and then give us that abysmal piece of sugar honey iced tea. Like, you know, come on. Like, I'm not even going to call it that, you know, because that you say the sugar and the honey and the ice and the tea, that just sounds nice. But then when you acronym it, it's like, you know, yeah, it's that acronym for that. It's just not what the initials are, because, you know, I'm just going to say it's shit. Basically, it's shit.
It's brilliant.
It's shit.
You know, it's shit.
You know, it's shit. Yeah, this episode.
Brilliant.
Like, I'm not going to beat around the bush about it anymore.
So we apologize if you did like it. We're sorry if you did
like it and you think our opinion is valid. Like, you know,
you're allowed your own opinion. So there we go. But bit of a shorter one, I think, anyway. But episode 7
still recommendable to everybody, because we need you guys to watch the episodes, so you know you understand what's going on when the series ends, and so you can come watch us when we break it down.
So weird.
well, you say break it down,
you know,
we're just talking
subscribe
about
so that you can find out every week, you know, to listen to our pointless reviews, which aren't pointless in our opinion, because, you know, everyone likes their own opinion.
I do feel like they're being a tiny bit disrespectful to Endgame though, because of Tony Stark. Because this show has just become a meme streak of him dying. They even showed his death in this one. They even showed his actual like in Endgame death.
Yeah,
probably my favorite animated clip from this episode. That was probably the only part about it I liked, and that was just referencing like going back to the referencing of the main timeline. So, also, how many times he died? He's died in episode 3.
5 times. Yeah.
He died in so yeah, obviously he had his Endgame death in the core timeline, and then in What If, the second time he died was when he was injected to stop himself, which is a reference to Iron Man 2, which happened during the events of Iron Man 2 in another timeline, and he died because of that, because Hank Pym, his Yellow Jacket, there's the sort of like Yellow Jacket Ant-Man, went inside him and killed him, basically, or did something to the medicine or whatever. Then he died again in episode. Then he technically kind of off-screen died again in episode 4, when Doctor Strange destroyed the universe, which is not actually a scenario I considered. Then he died in episode 5 because he got turned into a zombie. And then technically he died again when the zombie version of himself that was still kind of had his, like, the smart zombie was then killed by Janet Van Dyne as the Wasp. So that's so far 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you count that as a separate death as well, because that's kind of like 2 and 1 deaths. Then they showed the flashback of his Endgame death, which again, like kind of a 6th/5th/ kind of just not any 0 death, whatever, like, just another one, another excuse to just show his character dying. And they're showing the core timeline, but they're showing it through the animation. So I'm kind of like, they could have shown it the live action one, but it wouldn't have made as much sense. So I could say that's just another branch timeline where things just worked out the exact same way, but for some reason it's just another alternative timeline because nothing's been changed about it. So, yep, 6. And then again in this episode, which is technically 6 or 7, episode 6 obviously, but 7 as in 6 or 7 as in death, gets killed by Killmonger.
God damn.
So that's like, oh my god,
Iron Man death count. Yeah,
he's died more than anyone else. He's died more than Loki.
Oh my god. Well, there we have it.
To summarize, Endgame death, including the flashback death. So that's kind of, I'm guessing. So with What If, so that's 1, 2 in episode 3, 3 in episode 4, but I won't count that because that was off screen, even though it kind of did semi happen. So I'll say like half of that. And then once in the zombies episode, and then once in this episode. So he's had 4 deaths in the MCU, technically. Realistically.
Yeah, he has literally died more than everyone else.
6 to 7 if you want to get technical about it, but yeah, like it's 4.
Brilliant.
4 deaths as of today. I swear to God, he's gonna die in the next like 2 weeks.
He has to die in every episode.
If he doesn't, I'll kill him myself. Literally. But
there we go, episode 6.
Yeah, that's just it for you.
We ended up rambling for a lot longer, but we'll see you on Friday for whatever we're doing. We'll work out when we get to it.
It's Friday's problem.
Yeah. So yeah, like, subscribe, tell us what you think of the episode. See you next Wednesday for episode 7 of What If, and Friday for our main episode. So
if there's anything that we haven't touched upon, I feel like there's probably more of a chance we haven't in this specific episode that you would want us to touch upon regarding this. We'll probably most likely talk about it in our next week's What If review along with episode 7, but let us know in the comments.
Hell yeah.
Because I've noticed that we don't actually rehash, because people don't tend to ask. So, but if you do and you're wondering, well, when would we talk about it, then just let us know and we'll talk about it in episode 7.
Yeah.
With 7's review.
There we go.
So, yeah.
See you Friday. And other days, T'Challa. 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 Oh, fuck, what recorded?
Keep that in.